Hey guys, what's going on? Off to another episode today. We're out at Blackbutt today, and we're going to be doing the much weighted, so keen for the bottom end assembly of my turboed 4AG. So we'll get out there, we'll see the guys, we'll get everything going, and then I'll fill you guys in once I get there. Cheers, guys. Alright, so we're just starting on it now, guys. This is where we left off last time, just with the block. All painted nice, everything looking all sweet. So we're going to get into assembling my first motor. Well, attempting anyway. So we got Max here. He's going to help me. He's the master mechanic. So if I
line leading the line here, boys.
Yeah. So if I fuck anything up, it's his fault. No, more than keen. Really excited to actually get into it and learn a lot in the process. So more than happy. But I'll go through step by step. It won't be a massive intuitive video. It'll just be step by step. And if you have any questions, then feel free to ask. Okay guys, so as we've got some new wire locks for the wrist pins, some ACL thrust washers, and some total seal piston rings. And I've gone with a set of King's bearings, rods and mains, and then ACL for the thrust washers because I couldn't get King's. So we'll get into it today. We'll do the ring gaps and so on and see how far we get.
Good little 16. Yeah. 1 and 2. So there you go. You can do the rest of them, mate.
Yeah, done.
Righto, so we've got Big Joshy onto the rest of the ring gaps. I've done these first two. This one ended up a little bit wide, but should be right. Won't hurt much. And so Josh knows the ropes now. He's off on his own tangent.
Yeah, so
getting it done, son.
Yeah. Well, get this back out. She's still tight at 13, so. Alright, come on. Test it again. Going. What I'm doing here is just making sure that the ring is as square as possible just before I go doing anything. So we're setting these to about 16 thou because I plan on running about anywhere from
About heaps of boost.
about 20 to max probably about 30 pounds for this little thing. So all saying it holds together.
Yeah, the gaps are fairly wide, but we do plan on pushing this little engine quite a way, so. Might go a fair bit more because it's still tight at 13. So. Righto guys, so we've got the top rings all filed up and the gaps are set. So we've just got Josh here now just cleaning up all of the edges with a hobby file, making sure we get rid of any lip or any dag that may have been left from the filing process. Make sure it's nice and clean. So we'll do that for all 4 rings, then we can move on to the second rings.
Okay, so we got the first set of rings done. They're at 16 thou. One is a little bit larger, I believe, similar to 2 at, I think it's 18.
Yeah, about 18.
About 18. So now we're
gonna
do the second ring. We're gonna set this one a little bit bigger, probably.
So yeah, we just make sure the second ring's a little bit bigger than the top ring, which just prevents ring chatter. So the last thing you want is for compression to be able to get past the top ring and get trapped between the 2 rings. So you want to make sure that if you do manage to get compression through it, just go straight through, essentially into the crankcase. Because ring chatter, which is where you start to have waves between the rings, can cause issues with rings actually popping out of the grooves, and it's not a good thing. It's a really bad thing to have. It's not good for your rings. So we just make sure the second rings are a little bit wider to ensure that that's not a problem. So, around 18 to 20 thou on the second rings.
Yeah. So we've got 18, 20 thou on these rings, and then at least 15 thou for our oil control rings.
Yeah, for the rails and the rings, yeah.
Yep.
Just make sure there's a little bit of clearance there. It doesn't have to be heaps, but you just got to make sure that there is clearance. Yep. If these rails butt, it's not as bad as like a compression ring butting where it'll take the top of the piston off, but you will find if you don't have clearance, you'll have terrible oil control. You'll prematurely wear your bores. It's no good. You just got to have a little bit of clearance there so they can actually control oil.
Yep. So we'll get into that now, guys. It's been a little bit time consuming. I've learnt a lot done these ones. So we've taken the little edge off so that way they're nice and good and ready for some fucking ready for the boost. This is the setup so far, guys. We've got the first rings done. We're going to go through to the second ring. So let's get it. Okay, so with this one, we're going to go 20 thou, 22 because this one's a little bit larger, and then we'll go 20-20. So we've gone 4 thou larger than our top ring, so that way it prevents ring chatter. As Max was explaining, as it can cause some issues. So we'll get into that a little bit later because I'm not too familiar on it at the moment, but for now I'll start doing grind on these and then make sure we get them all perfect. Okay, so we've got 20 thou, 22 thou, 20 thou. We're on to the last one, which will be 20 thou again. So it's made it a lot easier using Max's handy war speed. This is a ring squaring tool. So that one has made this job 10 times easier than having to use a piston to do it, but nonetheless it would still work, but this just makes it 10 times easier. So thank fuck for that. Right, so the way I've done it is I've gapped the rings 1 to 4, and now I'm just filing off the little edges, 4 back to 1. So I've done 4 and 3, now we're going to 2. Now because these rings are a fair bit softer, your second ring, it actually has made the filing process a lot faster, a bit more easier to actually sort of run through and make sure everything's perfect. But I'll get Max to double check over most of it anyway, so we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, going strong, so just getting sick. So all I'm doing here with the rings is, alright, focus, taking the bit of sharp edges off. Now you should be able to run your fingernail across it and not get caught on anything, and then that's when you know she's good. So these are the second rings, so they have a chamfered edge, and the chamfered edge goes to the bottom where the dot to the top. So that's where the dotty is. That's where the dot is, so that's to the top. So there's the gaps on the oil control rings. It needs to be over 15 thou. So these are well over 15 thou, all 4. So that's good. I've been requested to wait for so these are the guides. These are the guide rings. And these are your oil control rings. So I've been asked to wait for them till Max gets back. He's just running to get me some lunch because, you know, he knows who the big dog is. No, but he's just going to get some lunch in with his partner. I've been more than accommodating for me, so it's amazing to have that sort of relationship with your engine builder. It's really good. So more than keen. Wild Rexamundo. Alright, next step, guys, we're going to put the wrist pins in the freezer. These are our new wire locks from JE Pistons, so we're going to throw them in, but I'll put the wrist pins in there for now so we can do a final assembly on these. These were all, the clearances already all been done, so keen as a bean for that. Looking awesome, looking awesome. It's a big shot of it, so looking well. Alright, so we're just doing a final clean of the block. Just getting ready to assemble everything, get it all ready. We've got the wrist pins in the freezer, so letting them shrink, and then just doing one last clean of the block so that way we can start getting ready to assemble. But I think first we're going to throw because we've got ARP main studs for this, so we're going to throw this, throw the main caps on, and we'll measure them up, make sure everything's true and straight. So yourself. Right, guys, so we just started installing the main studs, so that way we can center the main caps that we've got off the GZE, and then we'll make sure that they all sit true, and we'll make sure all the up, downs and diags are correct, so that way hopefully everything goes well. But if not, then we're going to have to get it line honed, so yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. Alright, so we've got these in so far. Got the mains in, the bottoms of the main bearings. The studs are in, everything's all nice and good looking, so throw these top ones in and then get measuring. Right now we're just doing main clearancing, just to make sure everything's true and straight. So on this one, I went 3 equal steps, 20, 40 and then 60 foot-pounds. So that one's good to go. And then we're just going to start at the back, work our way forward, so all should be sweet there. Alright, so we're going through the mains clearancing. We've got Max doing the math wizardry. Yeah, so we don't actually have a dial bore small enough, a bore gauge small enough to go through these solid.
We didn't have a bore gauge small enough to do the rods, so we used these little levers, which often happens. It happens with RBs and stuff as well, like RB25s, the rod journals this small, but the RB30s is just big enough to use the ball gauge. But I didn't expect the mains on this thing to be this small.
Yeah.
So we can use the ball gauge. Basically, if it's over 2 inches, we can use the ball gauge. If it's under 2 inches, we've got to use these. Because we don't have a ball gauge small enough to do down underneath 2 inch. So
Yeah. So.
not what I expected. I really thought these mains were going to be bigger than that.
Yeah. But yeah.
Tiny engine.
Yeah. So far it's all looking pretty good. So looking pretty happy with everything. So we'll see how we go.